My name is Charles Bélanger, and I'm a director of ISTO. I'm replacing the coordinator of this working group for this introduction, Annette Masson, who had professional emergency, so she apologized for not being with us. Talking about this ISTO working group on accessible tourism, I would like to remind all the participants that it gathers 22 organizations from 13 countries. It's been set up in summer 2020, almost 2 years ago. And we already posted some work online a few months ago, more precisely some recommendation to help tourism providers in welcoming people with disabilities during a health crisis such as COVID-19. This online document is available on the ISTO website and has been published in several languages and aims to help members, ISTO members and partners, but all tourism professionals who are facing difficulties during this difficult period. Since then, the group has worked on another awareness document that we will present today. And it's also aimed at ISTO members and tourism professionals, and it's on digital accessibility in tourism. We want to draw attention to the fact that the information for all tourists is above all done on social networks, and that's even more important for people with disabilities. But this can only be done if the website is technically accessible to everyone, and also if the practical information is well indicated. In the introduction of this document, we remind that 15% of the world's population lives with some kind of disabilities, according to the International Paralympic Committee and the International Disability Alliance. This document was created then to help each and every person to understand the needs of travelers with disabilities regarding accessibility, allowing them to prepare their travels, holidays, and leisure activities as comfortably as possible. It's also important to remind that an accessible website can enable any organization to reach new audience and to improve the way you meet your visitors' need. Before giving the floor to Miguel from Predif in Spain and Stephanie from Costa Rica Network on Accessible Tourism, who will present this document, I would like to thank all the members of the working group who brought the information, ideas, suggestions, and also thanks those who made a revision of the document, which is available in French, in English, and in Spanish. A special thanks to Nadine from the Commissariat Général au Tourisme in Wallonia, Belgium, to Marie-Odile Beau from France, to Consuelo from Cernatur in Chile, and also my colleagues here at the ISTO headquarters, Amandine and Leah, for their work regarding the English version and also the preparation of the document. A special thanks also to Miguel and the designers from Predif who made possible to have not only a good content, but a beautiful document. We will share it with you. So thank you all for your presence. And now I leave the floor to Miguel for the first part of the presentation. And once again, at the end of both presentations from Miguel and Stephanie, we will take time for questions and comments. So Miguel, I give you the micro, and I will share some during your presentation. I will share some slides with the participants.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Charles. Hello, everyone. I'm Miguel Carrasco, the Accessible Tourism Director in Prediv. Thank you, ISTO, for counting us to work in this project and all the Tourism Accessible group to do a nice and interesting document, because it's an interesting document to work in the accessibility in the digital websites or digital page in the tourism, accessible tourism. This document is an accessible document, so this is important. The first step is a nice and accessible document to start to work on it. And then I start to talk about different information about the document. The document will be shared in the website, ISTO website. And it's important, this document, because nowadays in the European Union are 5 million people with disabilities do not use internet due to the accessibility issues with the website or lack of useful information. This is very important to keep in mind, because it's 5 million of people just in European Union, but worldwide is near to 70 million of people that they can use internet because of the lack of useful information in the website and accessible websites. All users should be able to perceive, navigate, and understand public sector with websites, which must also be designed in a way that is compatible with assistive technologies such as screens readers. To keep in mind the regulation, are there two important regulations? Is the World Wide Web Consortium, WB3C is the sign, and have issued a series of recommendations to ensure more accessible web content. In the document, you can see some recommendation about with logical navigation, accessible pages, and ways of navigate with the mouse of the keyboards, and information about the color contrast, comfortable and easy to read in. Every image can attribute at describing the visual element correctly. Pages are well organized, hyperlinks, a lot of information to do some recommendation for the steps to do the website accessible for all the people. For example, in the color contrast, it's important to keep in mind that the color contrast ratio should be near to 17% between the support and the lettering. Another important aspect is the following option on the website. For example, the grayscale, the high contrast, the negative contrast, the light background. For example, in the document, you can see information about the font type to use. The recommended fonts is the first of all is Arial font, but Helvetica, Tahoma, Marianne, Verdana, or Calibri should be some accessible for the type in the website. Regarding the front sites, it's important to the website should be allow users to widen the text and narrow the text, and expansion of opportunities on the website. It's important to keep in mind the ideal size is the 14 points and ideal interlining is 1.5 points. All of the information and recommendation you can see in the document in the website, but like introduction, it's important to keep in mind all these recommendations, and also in the audiovisual resources, it's necessary to appear the alternatives like subtitling, textual transcription, audio description counter, sign language if it's necessary. And of course, the website is available in different languages. You need an alternative subtitling or other possibilities as indicated if it's necessary. For example, the use of the image pictures is important to keep in mind the alternative text to provide information for the blind people. All the alternative text for the people can understand the information that appear in these images, and the audio description. In this question, we have some recommendation regarding the audio description in every videos, where information is transmitted through images. For example, the explanation of a product, the general information, the newsletter, the security, but also in the theaters, in the cinemas, in all the exhibition, we can keep in mind the recommendation to do a document on a digital information accessible for all people. And of course, it's important to have a easy to read document or similar for the people with needs of cognitive accessibility. The documents on the websites is important to be in easy read format to facilitate the understanding of information for everyone. People with learning disabilities, hearing, autistic people, children, people with limited access to cultural and special those have a temporary or permanent reading difficulties for various reasons. So it's important to keep the easy to read document. For example, if you found a website in another language that you didn't know, this easy to read format is interesting to understand the information that the document is informing about you. So this is our main recommendation that appear in this document, and appear, for example, then Stephanie comment some information about the information for organization, more specific information for stakeholders. This is a very quick description about the information that appear in our document. This document is very useful for all the companies that they want to keep in mind the accessibility as right, because accessibility is a right for all the people. And this document could be our first step to work as ISTO association, to work in accessibility for all the people in the digital websites and digital information.
Thank you, Miguel. First of all, I want to explain a little bit more what Miguel was saying in regards to the document. It was very interesting to work with various countries all around the world to create a document in regards to accessibility in websites, digital accessibility, because it's not the same for Africa, it's not the same for Brazil, it's not the same for Spain or for us in Costa Rica. So this document will give you that first highlight to start developing accessibility on your web pages, on your social media, and all of those things that you do digitally. Because as we have seen in the pandemic, that's number one right now, right? Trying to make us see each other on the web and on everything that is digital. So thank you, ISTO, for working on this group, for working on this document that will give those highlights to people. So my turn is to talk a little bit more about general information. Let me share my screen. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about recommendations, all right? Not so specific as Miguel talked about, but more useful information. So we want to make sure that all of you give the information so that users, travelers can follow your brand. Okay, so the first thing is, if you have a certification, a label, or a stamp or a seal that reveals that commitment, that's very important to show. Then always remember that if you have a booking engine or an email or a phone where people can access the information of accessibility, that will give them that uniqueness, you know, that way they will understand how accessible you really are, or they can actually see if the accessibility that you're showing is for their condition or not. Because remember that we're diverse, which means that everyone has a different condition. So your accessibility may not be the best for a certain people, but may be the best for another one. So always give that information. Your booking engine has to be accessible as well. Always describe. Remember that on your web pages, we need to know where the parking lot is, or if we're looking for a toilet, where it is, what's the route, what's the distance, which are the possible difficulties that I will encounter if I'm going there. If you have a location, for example, a hotel, which are the nearest post office, the nearest health center, the nearest ATM, those specific areas that normally we need on a daily basis, describe them, give the information. As well for hotels, now in specific, we always, as I indicated before, indicate, describe, and give the information. That's the most important in the accessibility, digital accessibility. So describe your lobby. Is your main table in the lobby short? Can I access it with a wheelchair? How's the fact sheet of your, give fact sheets. When you go to web pages of hotels, normally you don't find the fact sheet of that accessible room. So that gives us information so that person with disability can actually know if that accessibility will help or not, will be useful for him or not. Always give information of rental equipment that you have on property or those that are near you. Social areas, because when you go to a hotel, people don't want to stay in the room. They want to go to the restaurant, to the bar, to the pool. If you have I don't know, a park, a reserve area, describe it as well. Tell people how you are, if you're accessible for the different conditions, if you're accessible for a physical, sensory, or cognitive, because remember that all of them are different and we have different needs. In regards to restaurants, bar, and catering services, as I mentioned, indicate, describe, and give that information. Not only the physical, because sometimes when we're talking about accessibility, we go to the physical. If we have the ramp, if we have the area to transfer yourself. Always remember as well that we need the digital accessibility. So the menus should be digital for people, not only the QR code of nowadays that you download a PDF file with the menu. No, that PDF file has to be accessible so that people that need the technology, because they don't see the menu, can really access it. Okay, so remember, it's not only uploading a normal PDF file. That PDF file has to be accessible as well. The bathrooms in the restaurants are really important as well, where they are, how accessible they are. In holiday organizers, so tour operators or local tours that are in the areas, the best and the most important part is that your staff understands the demands, the needs, are well trained, and are available to answer questions, describe, and point out all the barriers. Always detail the possible adaptations and equipment that you have available as a tour organizer. For the museums, offices, and sites, look, it's a common indicator. Indicate, describe, give information. I think that's the most valuable in the digital accessibility. Describe how your seats are. Describe the information. Use pictograms. And always the equipment on site. ISTO has not only created this document that will give you those unique, let's say, first steps to create accessibility on your digital platforms. The website also includes annex links so that all of you can annex the country's information or universal information in regards to each of the items that has been specified, not only by me, but also by Miguel. So it's a very clear, full document. And ISTO and all of us that we worked on this document, we hope that this advice and recommendations will provide all of you that first step to really encounter and love this world of accessibility. So I give the floor to Mr. Charles.
Thanks a lot, Stephanie. So as you heard from Miguel and Stephanie, there is the technical aspect to take into account, but also the type of content that is needed to be provided to the clients, to the travelers. So, and all this information, once again, is on this on our document. I will share it once again. So most of the information Stephanie provided is right here on this document regarding the different type of stakeholders, you know, proposal for different type of stakeholders or the organizers and so on. I will not come back on this. But what I want to say is that on the ISTO website, you have a page that you can see here dedicated to this topic, accessible tourism, and where you can find the documents of ISTO. The latest one is there now. Probably I should just have to refresh my here it is, the documents, and there is also two other documents that you can see here.
Charles,
Yes?
I'm sorry. You need to go close the stop sharing and then share again with the website,
Okay,
because
sorry.
we're just seeing the same document.
Sorry. Now can you see?
No,
No.
not yet. No.
No, just a second. Share. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So once again, this is the accessible tourism page on the ISTO website dedicated to the work of this working group. Picture of Annette Masson, the coordinators, and the documents, I would say, which are the results of the work done by this group. I mentioned at the beginning in my introduction this document, these recommendations to help tourism providers in welcoming people during a health crisis. But we also have another interesting document which gave an overview of what 40 members, ISTO members, are doing in the field of accessible tourism. It was made at the end of 2020, and now the latest one here that we just presented, and the appendix. Here you can see, yes, the useful links by country. This is something we will, of course, update because we do not pretend that everything is there. But these links make reference to the issue of digital accessibility, because, of course, regarding accessible tourism, there is a lot of references. Now, this annex is very specific on this topic of digital accessibility. And these links were provided by the members of our working group. So this is what we had to present. Now, if there are some some questions, we hope so, or comments, whether it's from members of the working group or other participants, you are welcome. I would like just to ask you to introduce yourself and to tell us from which organization and which country you are coming from. So if someone wants to say something, you can raise the hand physically or virtually. I don't see anything for the moment.
We have
Monica Oriol. Monica
yes.
Oriol.
Monica, okay, Monica, okay, now we see you. Welcome, Monica. So, Monica, your micro, please. Yeah, thanks to introduce yourself and remind where you're from.
I'm Monica Oriol from the Catalan Tourist Board, and I work as well, or I take part, I'm a member of this working group on accessible tourism. And I thank you very much for this, for the document, because it really looks very good. Actually, I remember working on the document and how difficult it was to introduce all the different information, put it together, and I don't know, it was quite difficult because there were lots of information from different countries. What we have been talking about as well on previous emails, and well, concerning the content of the document, I think it's very interesting to see how well, companies, businesses, and official companies, etc., can do better by using these tools to make a better accessible websites and digitalization. But I don't think if this document that we've seen today now on the screen is the same document that you actually sent us. Is it the same one, or has it changed?
It's the last version I sent to the member of the working group, normally, yeah.
My presentation was not the document. I created like a small presentation.
Yeah. No, because I heard that Miguel said that the document was accessible. And I am sorry, I insist on this. I know this is something that we maybe should talk about, but Miguel said it was accessible. I wanted to ask him what kind of, what level of accessibility it has, if it's 1A, double or triple A, just to know. But because if I can know, we are obliged to just use and public documents that are AA. That's why I wanted to ask for it, and if he could, well, tell me so. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Monica, for your question. Miguel, would you like to?
Yes, we test the accessibility on the documents also for the transcriptor for blind people. And we have in the Spanish version, this is important to keep in mind, the Spanish version have all the information and all the criteria of accessibility completed, but we will check with French and English version if we need to change or include any other extra accessibility criteria. Will be not problem, because this is our work. Thank you, Monica, for this question, and keep in mind that accessibility in all of the documents.
Yes.
Do you know, just one question, do you know if it's A or AA? Do you know that?
Let me check, and this afternoon I'll let you know, because
no, it's okay, I'm not in a hurry. It's just
no, it's just to keep in mind of all of the documents that we will publish is with criteria of accessibility. So this is important to keep in mind, and I think is AA, but let me check with the designer and let you know. no problem.
Okay, okay, thank you, because we are an official entity, and everything we are obliged to do everything at least AA. That's why I'm asking. Otherwise, I need to
Yes.
make the document myself again. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Monica. We know that obviously when we talk about accessibility, ISTO should give a good example, if I could say. Although I would say, and it's Annette, our coordinator, who mentioned it, that the first target, let's say, of this document are for, let's say, professionals. But as a second step, we perfectly agree that to see how the document itself we produce can be accessible or even translated in other languages, or we are totally open to this. There's no problem, but it was like a first step. But this is an important point to mention. And it's true that sometimes we forget this aspect. Another question, other comments or questions from the participants?
Yes, you have Anita Gagowska.
Anita, please, present yourself.
Yeah. Hello to everybody, and I want to thank you because you did great job doing the manual. I would like to ask if we can already promote it on our web pages, and if we can post, because I can see that the final version is only accessible to the members. If we can post the final version on our websites, or is not allowed?
Well, I mean, yeah, as member, you have the right to access the document. And of course, if you want to I would say, share it within your network, that's fine. I mean, it's the document we put on ISTO website is accessible to ISTO members on purpose, because we want to invite more organizations to join ISTO. You know, that's like part of the benefits to be member of ISTO. You can have access beside, like you, Anita, and others, beside participating to the work of the group, you can have access to certain documents that other organizations don't. But I mean, if it's you want to share it with your partners, or I mean, within your network, or even use it to convince, I would say, local, regional, or national authority about the importance of accessible tourism, whether it's digital or any specific issue, that's okay, because at the end, this is what we want. We want to raise awareness among professionals, among public authorities, and eventually also invite and more organization to join the ISTO network. So this is my, and for the question of access to the document on ISTO website, yeah, you just need to have each member has a password. If you don't remember, you can write to us and we will give it to you. It will allow you to have access to all the documents on ISTO website. It's important. So thanks for the question, Anita. Can you just remind people where you are from and what's the name of your organization?
Of course. My organization is Poraka Nova, and I'm coming from Macedonia.
Macedonia.
Yeah, one more question. We are organizing a conference for digital transformation of different sectors in June. Are you interested to present this guide on the conference?
Yes, will it be virtual or
It
physical?
will be on spot. If anyone can come, I don't know, for example, Miguel or Charles, someone from Europe, if someone from Europe can come to Macedonia and present it, it's okay. If you can't come, then online we can organize a video and video presentation, so that will be okay also.
Absolutely. Okay, thanks for the invitation. Yes, I think that for ISTO and our working group, it's a good opportunity to promote and present and let other organizations know what we are doing. So, of course, Anita, later on, you can send us the information.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Donc, Sophie.
Bon, Sophie.
Just a second, Sidi.
Bonjour, c'est...
Oui, juste une minute, Sidi. Je vais y aller avec Sophie. OK, Sophie.
Hello. Yes, I will be quickly. I'm like Anita. I was first. I want to say merci to the ISTO to have permitted to do this work. It's very useful for us. We did not have any documents like that before, and it's very clear and very easy to communicate. So we wanted also, like Anita, to communicate it on our website for professional actors in our region, Occitanie. I'm sorry, I did not say. I am from. I'm working for Occitanie region in the southwest of France. So we are building on our website for professional people in tourism, all centre de ressources. How do you say, Charles?
It's like a digital documentation center, or
yes, about accessibility.
Okay.
So this document will be inside, and we are happy to present it.
Okay, it's an online. It's like a digital library, Sophie. It's online. Yes.
Yes, it's online, and it's for all people working in tourism in the region. You know,
Yes.
it's a very large region with
Yes.
13 departments, and it's for every people, professional in enterprise or for institution.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you, Sophie, for your comments. We know that you represent a very important region in France, and that you are very active in the field of tourism for all in general, and of course, accessible tourism.
Thank you.
Okay, now I give you the micro, Sidi, from present. You can present yourself, Sidi.
Ok, bonjour tout le monde. J'ai le regret que je ne parle pas anglais. Il paraît que je suis la seule personne ici qui ne parle pas anglais. Bon, je suis le nouveau associé. Okay.
Yeah, I will
translate. Voilà, je salue tout le monde. Malheureusement, je ne peux pas profiter beaucoup de l'expérience des autres à cause de la langue. Bon, je croyais que c'était traduit. Donc, j'ai le regret de ne pas trop comprendre ce que les gens disent. Bon, j'arrive juste à saisir un peu d'ici et là. Bon, et voilà, c'est tout. Et on est là, donc on souhaite que ça marche très bien. Bon, je suis le directeur de la coopération, de la recherche et du développement du tourisme au sein de l'Office national du tourisme. Et c'est la seule institution pour tout l'État mauritanien. Donc, vous comprenez.
OK. Donc, merci, Sidi. Donc, juste, je vais traduire pour les autres. So, Sidi, apologize for not speaking English. He is the Director of International Cooperation of the National Tourist Office of Mauritania, who has became member of ISTO very recently, and who will be involved, it's almost confirmed, in one of a big European project co-financed by the European Commission. So we're very happy to have CD and a public organization from Africa within ISTO and interested by what we are doing. And just quickly in French for CD. Donc CD, ce que je voulais vous dire, c'est que oui, le webinaire avait été annoncé en anglais, donc on ne peut malheureusement pas avoir toujours de l'interprétation simultanée vu les coûts, mais donc le document qu'on vient de présenter est disponible, je l'ai dit au début, en français. So I repeat, the document is for the moment available in French, English, and Spanish. And if one of you from other country or other languages would like to how can I say, translate it, we are of course open to it, because the first document we made on a recommendation is now available on 6 or 7 languages. So, but French, English, and Spanish are the 3 basic languages for our work at ISTO. Okay, who else would like to talk or say something?
Non, merci. Je vais essayer de suivre, comprendre un peu ce que je peux. Bon, je dis bonjour à tout le monde. C'était juste pour voir l'équipe et tout ça. Bon, je pense que j'aurai le résumé ou la conclusion de ce qui a été dit, puisqu'on puisse le comprendre. Et on salue tout le monde. Nous sommes très heureux et très sensibles à cette nouvelle coopération. Et nous ne ménagerons aucun effort pour que cette coopération, quand même, de notre côté, on apporte la pierre nécessaire à cet édifice, quoi, pour enrichir et développer le tourisme, tant en Afrique, en Europe, et multiplier bien sûr les échanges et tout ça. Donc, je vous souhaite la très bonne marche de la discussion. Bon, trouver quelqu'un qui parle anglais.
Okay, merci Sidi. So Sidi is very happy to be part of the ISTO network. As I said, he's a new member representing Mauritania and is very open to exchange practices and experiences with other ISTO members from Africa, but also Europe or Africa. Okay, so are there any other persons who would like to make a comment? I want to take this opportunity also to say hello to Catherine, who joined us a few minutes ago, Catherine Cosby from Mountains for All. Hello, Catherine.
Charles, hello. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you want to say something, Catherine, about this work, or?
About I haven't really had a chance to read through. I quickly read through the presentation this morning, and it looks excellent. It looks really great. But I'm afraid, as you know, the last few weeks have been a bit difficult for me, so I haven't had so much of an opportunity to go through it.
Yes, we perfectly understand. So, Catherine, for the other participants, you represent Mountains for All in Switzerland, doing a lot of activities in order to make, how can I say, these mountains and skiing accessible for.
Yes, it's my work. I'm based in Switzerland, but the work really covers mountainous areas across the world, and it's about trying to connect the experiences with people for full inclusivity and accessibility. So it takes in experiences year round within all mountain regions across the world. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. You saw in the chat some references also we had from, let's say, Chile, Camilo from Chile, who talk about user way widget. You have the link there, which gives, is saying a lot of tools on what we were talking about. We also have Massimo from Emilia-Romagna talking about a project on accessible tourism, and saying that many aspects of the presentation were would be useful for this project. So that's what we can say for the moment.
We have Isufu who raised his hand.
I'm sorry, who want to speak?
Isufu raised his hand.
Isufu, okay. Isufu, please, can you introduce yourself? No, your micro.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Isufu, Adam Hassan Isufu. I'm an engineer in tourism and leisure. I'm from Niger.
From Niger.
I'm a president, co-founder, president of a young NGO named Tourism and Local Development. It is a young NGO that intervenes in tourism, food sovereignty, culture, environment, and heritage preservation. I see that the document is only accessible for ISTO member, so that I have just complete the form to become a member of ISTO program, our NGO. I'm glad to be here and to see everyone on this webinar. Sidi, je disais que je m'appelle Adam Hassan Issoufou, je suis ingénieur en tourisme et loisirs de formation, je suis du Niger, président d'une jeune structure, une jeune ONG dénommée Tourism and Local Development, tourisme et développement local. Oui, je viens de m'apercevoir que le document est accessible uniquement pour les membres de l'ISTO. Donc, je me suis rendu sur la plateforme de l'ISTO pour compléter le formulaire pour devenir membre de l'ISTO à travers notre organisation. C'est ce que j'ai essayé de dire dans mon anglais un peu intermédiaire. Merci à tous.
Merci, Youssoufou. We are very happy about that news that you plan to join ISTO network. It's very good, especially because we don't have so far a member in Niger. So we will be happy to have this your organization as first member in this country. So we're looking forward to receive your application form and to include you in the family of ISTO.
Thank you.
Okay. I want to take this opportunity to say once again thanks to Nadine from the Commissariat Général au Tourisme. I think she wasn't there at the beginning, but thank you again, Nadine, for the support provided by the Commissariat Général au Tourisme La Wallonie. I really want to stress this. It's a support by the work and participation of Nadine, but it's also there is also a financial support from the Wallonie region for ISTO for the work that we are doing in the field of accessible tourism. So merci beaucoup, Nadine. I don't know, Nadine, if you would like to say something.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Charles. Well, I'm very happy to see the document, the final document. It's a good job, and I thank every members of the group, of this working group, for the work. Thank you, everybody. And I think it will be very useful to use this document. Thank you.
Okay, so is there any last questions or comments? Otherwise, if not, I would like to inform you that we will have our next CafecISTO Europe on May 18 on the topic of responsible and sustainable tourism. Information is already circulated. There will be 3 speakers from France, Italy, and another country I can't remember. So you are welcome to register to this CafecISTO Europe on May 18, and also remind you that from June 20 to June 26, it will be the 3rd edition of the International Fair and Sustainable Tourism Week, Tourism for All Week. So, and what do we have during this week? We have 2 types of activities. Well, first, we will have our General Assembly. So all the members will receive invitation and documents, and it will be the opportunity to present the activity report of ISTO. That will take place on June 20 in the afternoon. But for the rest of the weeks, we will have some webinars. We will come back and it will be announced the topics, the speakers. But what is important here for our members, for you, is that you are invited to provide us information about activities, any kind of initiatives you could have during that week or a little bit before or a little bit after, it doesn't matter. And we will promote it on a dedicated page on our website and through the social network. So the idea of this International Week is really to promote fair and sustainable tourism for all, but promote activities made by ISTO members. So please, we already sent an information, but if you want, you can contact the ISTO Secretariat. So whether it's a conference, a book, a festival, a tour, a new project, a new product, any type of initiative is welcome, and it will be promoted by ISTO worldwide. So I think it's a great opportunity for all ISTO members and also for ISTO. And because today what is important is really to make tourism stakeholders aware of the importance of this fair and accessible, inclusive tourism. So this is the message I wanted to give you. And as final words, I would like also to thank once again our 2 speakers from Predif and from Costa Rica. Miguel and Stephanie, thanks a lot for your involvement, your presentations, and also thanks my colleagues from the ISTO staff, Leah, Sabrina, our communication and project manager, and other colleagues who are with us today, Jessica, Amandine. Thanks to all of them because they play also an important part for all the activities we are doing. So on that, thanks again for participating at this event. We keep in touch and we hope to see you and hear from you very soon. Thank you. Merci à tous. Gracias a todos.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye. See you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Grazie.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.